If you can't kill a boss, no reason why you can't look like one. Moogle putting the wow in transmogs. I know Warlocks usually work with purple, but this works with a Destro Warlock, I do think. Soul Priest, Shoulder Guards, Blackrock Foundry, Operator Thogar, 13% is the drop rate for the shoulders. Moving on to the chest, which is straight out of Siege of Orgrimmar. Thok, the Bloodthirsty, drops the robe at about a 24% drop rate. One of those acid-soaked robes. All three of those recolors look really good. Antiquated Highborn Singe is the belt, which is out of I was going to say Highborn. No, it's from Nighthold. Very Highborn looking, though. As you can see, the boss, and the drop rate is 16%. Moving on to the back, which is the Parrot Feather Cloak. Freehold. Sky Captain Crag makes an appearance to give you a cloak with about an 11% chance that you will be gifted the cloak. The back, we already went to the back. Now we're going to go to the legs, or the skull. Laughing Skull Boots are the feet. Turokar Forest, various mobs. Check your local auction house. For those boots, the hands are from Uldir Mythic. Vectis is the boss, 5% on the drop rate for those kind of golden brown-ish kind of gloves. Got a Nightborn lady who's saying goodbye and saying hello to Mr. Blood Elf. Hexweave Cowl, Wad Level Tailoring. Check your local tailor or your local auction house for the headpiece. Moving on to the weapon, and the final piece in this set is the Infernal Flame Staff, Blackrock Foundry Heroic. 20% drop rate for the staff. We'll move on to a little bit more Warlock look here. Unquestionable Warlock look, I should say. Prideful Gladiators Fellweave Amos, Mop PvP vendor, 3 marks of honor to get those shoulders from your PvP vendor in Mop. The chest is straight out of Suramar. Anna Mouse is a rare, I do believe she drops it. Kind of an easy drop rate, though, I'd say. Looking at Bikana Worgen here, Prideful Gladiators, Court of Accuracy. So it's Prideful if you're Alliance for the shoulders and the gloves and the belt. If you're Horde, it'll be Grievous. That's the way it works. Moving on to the back, which is the Wind-Whipped Sailcloth Trial of Valor Guarm, 8% on the drop rate for the cloak, which we'll see in a little bit. We're going to do a spin, but first, here's a Lady Goblin, and she's showing the feet, which are the boots of the Nexus Warden. Netherstorm, The Flesh Lies. It's a quest reward. There's the cloak, looking really, really sweet with this set. Kind of like that kind of gray, drabby green, and orange look with this. Very Warlock. Prideful Gladiators Fellweave Handguards, Mop PvP vendor, 2 marks of honor. We already said it once before. We'll say it again. Grievous if you're Horde. The head is straight out of High Mountain. They have a Pit Lord. It's a quest reward for the headpiece. And the final piece is the weapon. One of my favorites here. All 3 different recolors. Bite of the Bleeding Hollow, Hellfire Citadel Heroic, Killrock Deadeye, 10% drop rate on the staff. Gonna start off with Lady Void Elf and the Dreadful Gladiators Fellweave Amos. Mop PvP vendor, 3 marks of honor for the shoulders. Now, I want to point out that this looks a lot better on females than it does on males. It's just the way it works. Sometimes, depending on the race, depending on the gender, depending on the lighting, these things don't always look as good as they appear, or sometimes they look better than they appear. So it's always worth it to kind of kick the tires and see what you got. The belt, Dreadful Gladiators Court of Accuracy, Mop PvP vendor, 1 mark of honor. So the belt, the boots, and the shoulders, all from that same tier set. From Mop, and the legs, Black Mage Weave Leggings, Vanilla Level Tailoring, part of that same crafted set as the chest. Now this is epic on a Nightborn lady. Jagglespur Jack Boots, Dragon Soul Heroic, Warmaster Blackhorn, 14% on the drop rate. Now that looks, oh, I love this look on a Nightborn here. Probably look just as good on a Night Elf if Night Elves could be Warlocks. The hands, Dreadful Gladiators, blah, blah, blah. We already said that. Part of the same tier set as the belt and the shoulders. Diabolic Shroud really ties in nicely with this set. That's a Warlock cloak from Legion. And you get the head quest reward from the Grand. That is the WoD version of the Grand. And the weapon, Staff of Trial, speaking of WoD. Okay, we're going to start off with the shoulders. Now, keep in mind here, the shoulders, Nighthold LFR, also the gloves, the belt, and the hood are all from Nighthold LFR. I do believe there is a recolor that you could farm out of Isle Expeditions, which you could also list on the auction house, which means you could buy this set. And it's pretty cheap because I have the hood and I'm trying to sell it, and it's listed for 20,000, and I even just try to sell it for 2 or 3 and no one buys it. So it's pretty easy to get and also cheap if you're patient. So the belt, as we said, Nighthold LFR. The back is not the Bloodbow slippers, but it is from Drusvar, Order of Embers equipment cache, or it can be farmed from a rare in Drusvar as well. The feet are the Bloodbow slippers, which are also Order of Embers equipment cache from Drusvar. So those 2 pieces are Alliance only, but you could easily find substitutes for those 2 pieces. The hands are not the Emerald Nightmare LFR. I do believe that is the Nighthold LFR. Yasandra is the boss, or it could be the Emerald Nightmare. I don't know. I'm tired, people. But the eyes of, God, I'm not even going to go there. The Nighthold LFR, Alessandra is the boss to get the headpiece. Like I said, you can find these pieces on the auction house as well, I do believe. And the weapon, Blackrock Foundry Ghoul, 22% on the drop rate for the Infernal Flame Staff. Okay, a little bit of purple, a little bit of a grayish white here. Mantle of Closed Doors, the Firelands, Heroic, Balrog, 22% on the drop rate for the shoulders. Moving on to the robe, which we're going to pull from a place called Hellfire Citadel. Manaroth is the boss. The Death Rattle robe drops at about a 10% drop rate. Of course, that is a robe from Warlords of Draenor, the fun. Moving on to the belt, Siege of Orgrimmar brings us to Mist of Pandaria. Siege of Orgrimmar LFR Malkoric is the boss, 15% on the drop rate for the belt. Next up is, we're going to stick with the human here and show the back, which you'll see in a little bit when we do a spin. Karazhan BC version of Karazhan, Terrestrial Elhoof, 17% for the Gilded Thorian Cloak. Now we have a Lady Nightborn showing the feet. Netherweave boots, BC level tailoring. Check your local tailor, check your local auction house. Netherweave boots are very neutral boots that go with all cloth wearers. So definitely neutral, definitely good to get one way or another. Meatmonger's Gory Grips. Heimall the Butcher, 15% on the drop rate for the gloves. Moving on, we have an undead dude showing the headpiece. Nighthold is the place to get the Custodian's hood. Trilliax is the boss, 8% on the drop rate. Look at his jaw just kind of like flailing like a fish in a bowl there. Baleful Spire, Tanan Jungle, Baleful Armament is what you get the weapon from. There's a very, very strong vibe of Destruction Warlock here, and there's a few things that you can mix and match with this. Like, you don't have to go with those shoulders or that headpiece or the belt. You could go with the tier pieces that are the gloves and the boots, which you can get out of Throne of Thunder. We'll get to that in a minute, but the chest is really easy. Ritual Tunic, Black Fathom Deeps, or on the auction house, of course. The belt, Court of Surging Hysteria, the Burning Throne Mythic, but in case you want to stick with as is, the belt, the hood, and the shoulders, all from that same tier set from Legion. Ferocious Leggings, or Ferocious Combat Silk Trousers, Legion PvP vendor, that's Alliance only. Says Marks of Honor. You got to buy the entire set. Maybe you have it already, maybe you don't. Eventually, pieces of Marks of Honor, you'll be able to pick it up. Prospectors Boots is incorrect. Those boots are straight from a tier from Throne of Thunder. Look at that cloak. Really works with this set, I think. The hands, Throne of Thunder LFR. So LFR version to get the boots out of Throne of Thunder as well. Duramu the Forgotten. Life Drainer's Sordid Grip, 24% on the drop rate. You could also get the belt and the shoulders and the hood if you want to mix and match, put it on the set as well. Or you could get the belt and the boots from the Legion set as well. So there's a couple of choices here, but this is what I went with. Cloak of Desperate, blah, 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 is a Warlock cloak, and it looks awesome. Infernal Flame Staff, Blackrock Foundry, Gruul is the boss, 20% drop rate. My name is Luxeley. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I'm going to leave you with this, maybe not final thought. Maybe you could check one of these other 2 videos out, but whatever it is by you, whether it's morning or it's afternoon or it's even night like it is here, make your day epic.